Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone. This is our first official all-access town hall. I'm going to do these regularly because people keep sending me 1,000 questions and it's better to do it in person. So just a bit of an overview. Why did we develop all access, right? The number one thing behind it is if you go back in the day when I started selling websites, which was 12 years ago, I was all by myself. But I think in about 18 months, I sold nearly 3,000 websites, right? And I had no idea how the editor worked. I had no idea how to build a website. I had no idea about anything. And even to this day, I cannot open the editor in Duda, okay? And TheCamel's been going since 2013. But what I did do, I had a team of developers, I had a team of designers, I had a team of support people that were behind me to help me get it going. And then over the last 10 years, what I've noticed is TheCamel has been sort of like an incubator. You know, when people first start with Duda, they'll find TheCamel and we'll put them on the road to fame and fortune because they've got a team behind them. And the other thing I noticed was that you get a lot of people sign up as a Duda agency, and then it's like, well, what do I do now? Right? Because yes, Duda is fantastic. It's got the greatest CMS. It's got lots of things with Duda University and all that sort of stuff. But really what people want to be focusing on is to get out there and sell, rather than sitting in front of their computer building websites and all that. But we noticed that for newbies, there was this gap between learning how things work and earning, all right? There was this time frame where, you know, they're sitting on Facebook, they're asking questions, they're looking at freelancer.com, and all of that chews up time where they should be just out there selling stuff. The second one was for newer and smaller agencies. You know, they've started off, they've done well, they've got a couple of sites, but there's only one person and they can only build one site every couple of days, or if they use drag and drop, they can build them quicker, but then they look like everyone's the same and they stop selling websites. So all access, we worked it out, what do people need to be successful? They need more than just Duda templates. They need more than just Duda widgets. They need more support. They need knowledge. So instead of getting an accountant, ask them a question, jumping on Facebook and waiting for people to answer the question, they need a team that they can go direct to and say, hey, we've got a quote on this. What do we need? What help can you give me? Talk to development team on this customer wants this particular feature. So instead of searching Google for hours and hours and hours, you can come straight to a team and find out what you need. You need value-added services because selling a website is not going to make you a lot of money, right? It's capturing a customer, looking after them, and then continually offering value-added services to increase that monthly invoice. You also need support, that when something goes wrong, you can sit there and yes, you can talk to Duda, or you can get on Facebook. And what will happen on Facebook is 9 times out of 10, TheCamel or someone associated with us will answer your question anyway. So what we decided to do was put it all together in what we call all access. And what it's not a white label hosting service by itself. All right, there's plenty of other people that do it out there. Yes, we host your websites. We host them with Duda. We say it's Duda. We don't say we invented it and spent millions of dollars. All right, we tell the truth. And then what we do is we put it together with all access to TheCamel web widgets, all access to TheCamel templates, all access to TheCamel dev team, designer team, everything else. What else does it give you? Because you're in the all access platform, it gives you DIY, so you can start selling do it yourself to your customers. It gives you the opportunity to then convert them to DIFM or do it for me. And then it gives you the opportunity to convert it to full custom websites, all with the Camel All Access team. So you don't have to go searching for someone else to help you. It's all there. It makes it faster for you to close deals and bigger and better deals. Why? With AI getting stronger and stronger, the basic website days are going to be very tough, right? You'll have to move to middle order, higher end, and you'll have to offer a myriad of value-added services, right? Because it's so simple for them to do it themselves now. Why do they need you, Wesley? You know what I'm saying, right? So what All Access gives you the ability to do is take that all ready for you and just go out and sell it, right? So you can go and approach different customers than what you do now. That's why we call it a success white label, not a hosting white label. Okay. We've been doing it since 2013. We've built hundreds of thousands of websites. We've installed thousands and thousands of technical widgets and everything else. And we've helped a lot of people get from newbie to successful. And what we believe is, as a package altogether, this will work. And if you doubt it, just go and type on Duda's Facebook page, does anyone like the Camel? And see what happens. There will be literally everyone on that page will come back and say, champions, great support, wonderful service, know what they're talking about. The other advantages of All Access is that we're going to start up on YouTube an exclusive All Access video series where I teach people how to expand your agency, how to sell, how to upsell, all the things that I use every single day. I'll have them there in little 5, 10, 15-minute videos that you can watch. And if need be, you can send me a messenger and say, hey, Hodgie, I'm having trouble with this. What do you think? So all these things are designed for one thing, to help you succeed. What does it cost? The Duda websites, we host them for $16 a month, okay? And that's a couple of bucks more than what Duda charge you, but we give you a lot more than what you're paying for with Duda. We give you the DIY. We give you access to everything else. For $99 a month, you get all access to the Camel team and everything that goes with that. So again, instead of being by yourself, having to search all over the place, talking to freelancers and everything, you come direct to the source. You get your sites built with us, you get your help from us. We're there to hold your hand all the way. And our whole idea is to make you successful. One thing I've learned in this, the successful agencies, you don't see them posting questions. They're never asking anyone for help because they've got a team behind them to do that. And with All Access, that's the opportunity that's there for you. Does it cost you anything else? Is there a setup fee or anything? No. It's the site you host and your $99 a month, and that's it. So that was my 10-minute spiel. Fire away with questions. That wasn't bad though, was it? Alicia, was that good?
Well, good.
Wesley?
It
I'll sing Sweet Home Alabama again.
Please don't. That song is the anthem here, and football is a religion. So
What's the Alabama football team in NFL?
Alabama.
Go Bama.
Alabama football. And then there's Auburn University. So it's like,
and that's it.
Yeah, and you can really
and it's
like really offend somebody if you choose the wrong side. And I don't watch football, so there you go.
I got to be honest with you, as a sport, and I know AJ is going to kill me if he hears this, I think it's a very boring sport. It takes too long, and it's just, they run 5 yards, hit each other, drop them on the ground. Whereas Australian rules football, that's a game.
Yeah. The 80s and
You ought to be
90s
ashamed of
sports were
yourself,
more fun
Shane.
to watch.
Okay. AJ, awesome job. Leslie. Leslie Lindgren, one of my favorites in Hawaii. Okay. Question. Any questions? Or did I talk too much, Elisa? What if I own my own account and transfer all my sites? Bad luck. Okay, so AJ's got a good question. So you come into All Access, let's say you build 100 sites with that, and you decided, no, I want to leave and I want to set up my own agency account with Duda. I work on the principle, if you don't love us anymore, we don't try and hold on to you, we let you go, right? And what we simply do is transfer the sites from your white label account with us, we transfer them over to your new one. The only proviso is if you've used some of the really expensive dynamic page widgets and all that, there would be a cost involved, right? Because when we transfer a widget to your account, you own that widget, right? The second part about it is if I look after you, take care of you, love you, and make you successful, why would you want to leave anyway? Because hosting your sites in the Camel All Access is exactly the same as hosting them in Duda. No different. How was that?
I have a question for you.
So,
go ahead.
yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's kind of caveat of my initial question, Shane. So that's great. My main question was, like Leslie mentioned, some of us already have Duda accounts.
Yes.
Right. So some of us already have hosted sites. Some of us already have customers, clients. Will the team help us bring those sites into All Access? And
absolutely,
when that does happen, what kind of downtime are we looking for with the website, and what type of impact would there be on SEO? And I know that you might need to confer with the team on that, but those are just a couple of things that I know some people might be thinking about.
Yeah, I think because they're basically already held in the Duda CMS, right? So all we're doing is we're just dragging your sites into our white label account. So the sites don't really go down at all, do they, Jama? Melody?
Hello, jumping in.
Would the sites go down at all? No.
For a quick time, yes, because we're transferring it from one account to another. But basically, if that happens, if we get to that stage, we're basically gonna work with you guys to formulate for example, which time frame best suits you, so we could arrange it properly and then optimize the transfer to have the least amount of downtime there is. So if you have a lot of site, you may do it in batches, something like that.
Also jumping in, sorry, Hero.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, jumping in real quick in regards to the downtime, since the sites are already hosted within Duda, it shouldn't take, the downtime should be a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
And as Aero said, we'll work with you guys to get optimal. Maybe if it's nighttime for you where it's less traffic going into the site, that will be probably the optimal time to get those sites transferred. And if there's possible downtime, it won't affect much on your guys, as well as since it's already hosted in Duda, any SEO aspects will stay probably the same, but the team will help out further on that.
I think normally when you unpublish and publish a site, the SEO will refresh a bit, but ultimately since it's the same setup, it should get to the same level as it was before. So there may probably be a small window where things will get clunky SEO wise, but down the road it'll be all good.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to study that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just send everyone a message. I think, AJ, you're more concerned about downtime. There's really none, AJ, right? But you want to know if there's an impact on SEO. I'll get you the full answer to that because I'll talk to the digital marketing team. You happy with that, AJ?
Absolutely, brother.
Thank you, brother. Okay. Leslie, did that answer your question? Yes. Thank you, Leslie. You look great in your video, by the way. I just did a camel chat with Leslie. She looks fabulous. Okay, more questions. Test me, Leslie. Come on.
I do have a question then. Okay, so you're not hiding data. So like my customers currently get,
You do. You can.
you know, their
You can still
stats
hide it.
from me.
Yes.
Do I
don't
get the
hide it.
whole white label like I do now?
You get the same white label you got now. You just get more features, right?
Okay.
So you can hide it and say it's Leslie. You don't have to say it's Duda. But me, I say it's Duda, powered by Duda, because I don't want to do it the other way, right? Like
Yeah.
if you got like without code, they say it's without code. I don't want to be like without code. I just want to say it's TheCamel All Access, powered by Duda. But in your case, you can say it's Leslie's thing.
Well, because I just the reason I kind of wonder like that would be kind of more of a big deal for me is because that would be a big switch for all my clients, right? They're going to be like, what just happened? They're going to think maybe I'm gone if I all of a sudden change my branding. So that's the only reason I was asking, because I'd be like, oh, that would be, you know, they might freak a little bit.
It'll be exactly the same as what you've got now, just more features.
I have a
Okay.
question for you. Is there an ecosystem where, without transferring all of the sites over to the Camel, that a relationship can still be had between, you know, the Camel and a design agency, where we're still spending money for the same type of service, but not transitioning all that information over? And I understand why, but at the same point, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm kind of torn between that. Not that it's bad. I'm just saying it's one of those things. It's like I kind of like to own my stuff, and when I'm just wondering, it's like, can I still purchase services through the Camel
Okay.
for more higher end stuff? I guess is where
Okay.
I'm looking at.
All right, Wesley, we've got something we're working on now, which we're calling the Camel Associates, right? And that's really aimed at a different level of agency, right? Tony is helping us out on that, and AJ's helping us out on that. And that might be something we talk about with you. So you're getting that level of service you want, but you're staying as basically the same as you are. So we can have another conversation with you about that.
So certainly, yeah, and a lot of my questions are more a little, maybe a little over some of the stuff that you're going over, but
Correct.
I'm appreciating what I'm hearing, and there's good stuff in with all of this, so I'm not just discounting any of that, but I have questions that most people don't ask.
Yeah,
from a different point of view, so
that's
I'm just I'm excited to learn more about that.
Yeah, well, you know, Tony's the same because he's moving to Spain. Sorry, Tony, I'm telling you a life story here, right? And AJ,
mother's maiden name, go.
he's got a cat. I know he's got a cat. AJ is in Louisiana, but you know, AJ's got quite big, so you know, AJ needs all access, but he needs a little bit more than that, right? And you know, Tony's getting all access, but needs a little bit more than that. So what we're creating, even with Leslie, because Leslie's in Hawaii, but Leslie does a lot of mainland stuff. So all access might be great, but also another level of all access, right? And that's what I wanted, Wesley, that we could bring someone in as a newbie, get them busy, move them to an agency level, get them busier, and then move them to a associate level. If you get that, right? So like Alicia, we're in Southern California down there, right? She might start off doing a couple of sites a month and then comes in all access, goes up to 10, gets a bit busier, goes up to 15. Well, then it's a different, because the customers Alicia's talking to are far different once you get a name for yourself, right? You're not dealing with the same sort of customers. So that's why I want a migration path of newbies getting going on the agency, moving up to then an associate level.
So, yeah, so my just for disclosure of where I'm sitting is I'm not looking at quantity, I'm looking at quality sites,
yeah.
because those are treated differently. So the structure, the layout, the look, the handling of, you know, widgets and custom elements and anything that goes into this is what I'm really excited about, because Duda, I've used it way back in the past where it was just like mobile only, like that was it.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think there's a benefit to where they're going. I mean, they've gotten some serious funding for the platform, and that is interesting to me because you don't hear about that a lot, and there seems to be a lot of potential of what you can do in the back end. So
Yes.
that's the part of like, how do we bridge the gap between I'm building a simple website to this company wants that site and you can't have it type of thing, you know, because you know.
Well, I've noticed probably the last 2 years that on the fulfillment side of TheCamel, because we're a solutions partner, what I've noticed is that basic website has not really grown. What's grown is the middle to high level agency website, right? So a lot of the agencies we have dealt with over the years, where they were building, let's say, 15 sites a month, now they might be building 10. But those 10 they're building are huge. They're far more technical. They're different than what they were. So it's like what you're saying. It's not necessarily a numbers game. It's a quality. It's a feature, because the customers want more. You know, they want more applications. They want more of that sort of stuff. And that's why, for instance, in All Access, we're building not a, what's it called? An app store. We're building a success store where we're bringing in these applications and value-added services that we know those customers that Wesley's talking about, what they want. All right? It's not just the website anymore, Wesley. You know, they want a lot more than that. And that's where we want to position ourselves and you.
Yeah. And of course, you're still going to have access to all the stuff you usually have through your Duda back end anyway. You just can have all the additional tools through TheCamel with the widgets and templates as well.
Exactly. You know, instead of sitting back thinking, oh, heck, how does it do that? You know, you've got a whole team behind you that you can sit there, get on chat, send them an email, smoke signal, carrier pigeon, whatever, and say,
Carrier pigeon.
How do we do this? Right? Wesley's sitting in front of Harry, corporate client, and he's thinking, well, I don't know. Well, you've got that ability, as Tony said. Duda can do so much, but not every agency has the ability to know how to do it.
Well, and I think it comes back. This is where I think, you know, this conversation is kind of leading towards, is the fact that there's a communication fact that Duda just cannot touch. They try, and I've tried to reach out, and like you ask those questions, and you're really not talking to people who are technically capable. They're more of answering the phone and might get you an answer 8, 9, 10 days later, right? I mean, it's better than most. So I'm not dissing that, but the problem is, from a technical standpoint, I need that, just because sites are becoming more complex, and if we're building, like I build them from scratch, so I need the tools and know-how to do it, and a lot of it I understand, and there's a lot of it it's like I don't even know where you get this information. So that's the part where I struggle, is like, I know what I want it to look like. I know I can do it because I've done it in other websites, but I can't do it here. And that's where apps are really helpful. So it's like, does TheCamel have an app for that? And it's like, when I don't see it, I'm like, dang it. But they could build one. And that's the part of like, what can you guys do? And at the same point, here's a this is just me lobbing something, so tell me what you think on this. Duda has progressively has started moving over to the flex side of this is kind of the future of websites, is the whole flex layout. How do you guys anticipate how flex is growing, which ultimately will be probably part of the collection builder at some point, just because naturally the breakpoints and the flexibility of that, no pun intended, how do you guys work within those constraints for future technologies that Duda offers?
So the thing about Flex was really, how do I put this? If you look at the designers TheCamel has, okay, the team that we have, they've never liked Flex, right? Why have they not liked it? They've got to use it, but they're not great lovers of it. Why? Because they're professional designers and developers, right? Flex, when it originally came out, was for the drag and drop brigade that wanted to go another level, but didn't have that design skill and everything else behind them. Now, as a solutions partner, we have to use Flex and we have to be involved in it. So there's two sides of the story. When we build our stuff, we're not that fussed about Flex. Why? Because we're already at a higher level anyway, right? But if someone wanted to use Flex and their ideas were in Flex, well, we'll cover that as well. Does that answer the question?
I just kicked my mouse across my desk there. No, that does make sense. I guess how I look at everything is, if I'm looking at a website and you go from, let's say, for example, the header switches to rows, and then everything else is kind of using Flex. You're constantly navigating between these two visual breakpoints that, again, Duda can't align all those together. So their desktop and row format and tablet and mobile visually is different than it is in the Flex breakpoint. And it's strange to me. It's like that's a lot of complicated information when building a website. So when I look at apps and I look at things that you guys do custom, which is, there's some crazy stuff that you guys have done, which is awesome. And I look forward to trying to accomplish some of these things, but I don't know how do you guys go in and just hard code those things the way that they're supposed to be with all the right breakpoints so that it's pulling just basically HTML and CSS and kind of bypassing that silliness of all the different breakpoints?
I'm opting out. Help me, Melody, Hero, Glenn.
Yeah. Adding into that. So basically, I guess I want to say first, is how we treat Flex and new features for Duda. Basically, as Shane mentioned, we have to use it, even though we're not a big fan of it. But ultimately, it ends up to the client's requirement as well. Not just because you requested Flex from us, we'll do it immediately. We're also looking at, is this really a good fit for your site? Is this really a good fit for what you want to do? So it's not automatically if you request it, we do it. I think that's the essence of being solution partners anyway. We have to ensure that this actually benefits you. And so if we are going to translate, that's let's say Flex doesn't really suit you, but this layout will be suitable for Flex, or this design will be suitable for Flex. Um, Fortunately, the Camel team has a lot of experience with site builder, so we can ultimately create a design for you anyways and then teach you how to do it. But if it's going to be for the widgets, it's a bit different. Basically, yeah, as you mentioned, it's coded to respond to certain breakpoints, but not in depth to what Flex does, because as you mentioned, yeah, Flex is a bit complicated. So it's a bit wobbly still. Flex is improving, but not that major. Sorry, excuse me.
So I think, the difficult part about it, Wesley, is being at the level the Camel is, what Flex brought in, we've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. And, even now, and no disrespect of Flex or anything like that, it's a horses for courses thing. Right.
Yeah.
That we would build it without Flex because we don't need to do that. So we don't need all that other stuff. We build it, and there's widgets we have that other people don't have, right? So it's a different thing. But if Wesley come in and said, I need that done in Flex, we'll just do it in Flex.
Yeah, no, and I think and that's a good answer. And I know it's a complicated question, but I think this again is why I think Duda and leveraging the Camel, where you guys are technically in this, you guys know the ins and outs and can develop things for this, that you kind of supersede the visual aesthetics of, oh, look, it's a drag and drop editor. That's awesome. Where before that came out, I was using it, here and there, because a lot of the sites that I've created in the past are all custom sites. So it's not WordPress. It's a custom CMS solution, which is where I'm kind of looking at some of the stuff that Duda has and doesn't have and saying, well, why doesn't it do this? Because I've been able to do this for the past 10 years and nobody has this stuff, and it's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from, is like, there's some, I don't know if you guys got my question. This is the only question that I really am really interested in, is master sections for websites, so that it's not just collection data. It's just, you have a snippet of information that updates across the entire site, like a footer or a header.
Yep.
So you change it once in this master section that you've created.
Yep.
And it applies it everywhere throughout your entire site, because I'm going through these sites and I have to go to every single page. And
I read that. I think you posted that on Facebook.
Smokes. It's not efficient.
Yeah.
And it seems silly. And connected data isn't always the solution either, because it doesn't have variables like the height of, you know what I mean? It's missing like crucial, and that's where I'm like slapping my head. I should have had a V8 moment, when
AJ wants to chime in on this. Go for your life, AJ.
So not related to the master collection like you were talking about, but with the responsiveness, I think a lot of people get really excited over Flex for no reason, because it helps them align things faster. But everything that we've been told and everything that we understand about Duda is it's automatically responsive already on the server side. It's just not going to respond if you change the size of your web browser. So can the Camel go in and write custom code with media queries to cover all the breakpoints? I would say yes. In fact, I'm going to say yes, because I've seen some of the code that their team has written for me. But I think a lot of people get hyped up over Flex for really no reason, because you're never going to make a website truly responsive unless you code it into the media queries directly. You can use Flex, you can use Gridbox, whatever you want to use, but it's not going to be fully responsive unless you're going in and manually doing those things. The plus with using Duda is going based off of the 3 breakpoint rule, desktop, tablet, and mobile, is the server is going to pull the data from the device that the site is being viewed on, and it's going to display what needs to be displayed there. Are there flaws with it? Yes. Is Flex the answer? No. It's a little bit better, but it's not the complete answer. But I think that if you wanted something that was completely fully responsive, then the Camel team can go in and do the media queries for you, just to cover the basic breakpoints that you would need.
That's perfect, because that's thank you.
Yeah. And you know, the other thing, AJ, and I think you and I have talked about this a lot, in this last 2 years, especially, Wesley, there is not a site that we've said no to on Duda, whereas 2 years ago, we probably would have said, no, you can't do that, right? So a lot of the stuff that you would have gone to WordPress or something else can still be done in Duda now, right? And I think it's that level of what our team is at. And because we're creating so many of the damn things every day. So good points, AJ. You did it well. Just on that, Alicia, because I didn't answer you there. All the third-party apps you currently have with Duda, they're all still in the All Access dashboard. All the Duda templates, all the Duda widgets, that all moves over. But then what you get is all the Camel stuff on top of that. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, do you know what? The other thing I was going to pick up on, I know Wesley was mentioning there about, when it comes to technical support and everything, which I know can be a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
One thing I picked up, because as you know, Shane, when I first started working with you guys, it was very much a test run. I said, right, okay, I want to see how you guys are going to do for me for building a website for a client, because I was looking at the bigger picture, getting busier, taking on more work. If I can actually have a team like TheCamel that can churn the websites out for me very cost effectively, I can obviously do a lot more business. And obviously, a little bit of the cut that I'm charging the customer is going to TheCamel, but I'm still making a nice, healthy profit. First test run I done worked out perfectly. Team was fantastic to work with, going backwards and forwards to get things done. Absolutely amazing. And even a simple thing there, actually, recently I've got in touch with TheCamel to do a custom hover button widget for me that wasn't in there as a standard. And I think I saw, she was on the call, actually, Mylene, who I was dealing with this particular widget. It came back very quickly, and I noticed a couple of things that weren't kind of working the way I wanted them to, or a couple of improvements I wanted. And I lost track of how many emails went back and forwards with, another change and another change and another change. It was probably 15, 20 emails went back between us. But she got everything done. And for what I paid for the widget was like next to nothing. But the amount of work that went into it, and no quibble whatsoever on the whole process of getting the job done and making even the changes that I wanted done that weren't there as standard. So from that point of view, I suppose anyone who was concerned kind of getting a professional job done and, a good team to work with. Second to none. So
thank you so much, mate. I will send you the check as per usual for that.
No, but listen, look, credit where credit's due, Shane, because
I appreciate that, mate.
As I said, for me, it was very much a test run to begin with, because I was like, "Oh, these guys going to be as good as they seem to be, or I think they're going to be," each other kind of way. And look, as you know, I was sold pretty quickly on your service, and for me, the big part of it was the customer support side.
We've really, since COVID, we've focused so hard on bringing up our communication skill, our support skill. Like I talk about that smoke signal, carrier pigeon, Morse code, whatever, but I mean it. Any way that people can get to us, and we've got chat on Messenger, we've got chat on our website, we've got, any way, my Messenger has basically the same amount of people that are on the Duda Facebook page are on my Messenger. And they'll hit me up on that and I'll just send them straight to the team. Because I work on the principle, good things happen to good people. And you've got to maintain that. If you've got really good people that you're dealing with, you've got to try and do good things all the time. But also what else I say is the early days of a relationship are not always bright and rosy, right? And it's a matter of, you'll always have a couple of humps on the way, and you just got to get over that, because once the team is used to you, it's pretty easy after that. It's just sometimes the first couple of goes, we might upset you or you might upset us. because you're just getting the relationship right. Once that's done, you're fine. And we still have our first customer from 2013. We still have them now. Our largest corporate account we've had for 7 years. And you don't keep them unless you're doing something right. And as I said, if someone wants to review TheCamel, just type it on the Do to Facebook page and see what comes back. All right. And I'm proud of that. And I'm very proud of my team, you know, but it's a Filipino thing, Tony. You know, they are great at support.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they make wonderful nurses and doctors and dentists and all that stuff. So special support hours for access part. No, bad luck. The way we operate time-wise, we start at 4 a.m. our time, which is late morning, early afternoon USA. Our then shift goes all the way through to look after UK time, Australian time. The only time we don't cover, AJ, is you're 9 o'clock in the morning, I can't help you, right? But you're 11 o'clock, yeah, we can help you.
I need you to wake up at my 9.
Yeah, and you work 24 hours a day anyway, AJ, so it doesn't matter. What's your problem?
Yeah, I can't help it.
No, that's
another quick question.
Yep.
Talking about all access and, you know, the Camel and everything that TheCamel has access to. So what are y'all's limitations as far as custom integrations and stuff like that? And I'm going to bring up a particular point. There's a question posed in the Duda community talking about integrating a forum into the Duda website. And the response given by Scotty was you have to be on the custom plan because it's going to require certain API calls and yada, 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 right? All the technical stuff. TheCamel has access to all that within All Access, correct?
Correct.
That would be something that your team could help us build out. And,
yes.
and what, I guess the blunt question would be, what limitations, if any, do y'all have as far as Duda goes? And if you have like the top tier and you don't have any limitations outside of if anybody else can do it in Duda, then y'all can do it, then that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. Are y'all limited in your access?
No, because when you
Perfect.
If you're in All Access, you're at a higher level account. So a lot of the real good stuff that the API could do, those sites that you want to build, you can build them within All Access because it's all there already. In our account, we have all that API stuff, which you get All Access to. That's why you can have the DIY, right? Whereas if you sign up in a normal agency account, you can't have that.
And like, for me, I really want to focus on our partnership program, right? And our Duda expert calls and all that kind of stuff that we've been getting. I'm not going to say we've been blowing up, but we've been getting a little bigger, you know, since we became platform specialists and Duda experts and all that kind of stuff. And I really just want TheCamel to focus on handling my everyday clients while I handle my create partners. So, and this is probably going to be a question for your team, no offense, but will we still have access to the widget builder, stuff like that, or will that be TheCamel team only?
TheCamel team only.
Okay. So if we wanted, let's say we wanted a custom widget that y'all have yet, if we somehow run across one, would that still be a custom request for that widget on just our dashboard, or would that be, hey, thanks, we're going to put this out for the masses, and here's your smaller fee, or how's that going to work? Do you know?
Okay, so my plan on All Access is that, you know, right now, I hope this answers your question, AJ, right? Right now, TheCamel sells widgets and templates to the Duda community, all right? But what I want to be able to do is some of the really super sexy widgets, I'd like to make them exclusive to All Access. Some of the templates that we're building, I'd like to make them exclusive to All Access. We'll continue to service the Duda community, but I want to bring some of the really special things just into All Access for things like what you're talking about now, that we should make it attractive to be part of All Access because you can Star Trek sites. You can build sites that have never gone before because you have all access to everything you need within your dashboard. So in the end, a lot of the custom widgets will already be in there, or they might need a small tweak, AJ. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I want to make it, it's, in the end, All Access should have everything you need to sell just about any site. That's the goal. Right now, with all the widgets that are in there, you could build sites right now that you'd have to buy the widget, buy the template to build those sites. You already have all access to all that. Make sense?
Sounds good. Yeah, you have to forgive me. I'm at my son's baseball practice.
Okay. You got any more questions? I think, Wesley, we owe you some information, which will get sent to you. Alicia, I think I've answered your questions.
I have one last question, just quick one. So do you guys build websites based on designs? Is that something you guys do? So what's the procedure on that? Is it something where I would give you an XD file with the breakpoints of template layouts and then you guys just go to town on it?
That's it. You know, you can do, you know, with so many different ways. You know, we've got some send us wireframes. You know, we've got some send us a table napkin with a drawing on it, right? We have, I'm not joking, we got our own build form that with a lot of major corporate accounts, we've already customized that form for them. You know, the wireframe and that, the kids love the wireframes. But again, it comes down to the relationship. Once we get to know each other, we just get into a system that we know, for instance, Wesley likes to provide us this framework to build his sites. And we just end up working the system around that.
Sure.
You know, because we've been doing the fulfillment side, we've been doing for 10 years. And we've had to work with people all over the world, different languages, all sorts of big companies, small companies. So we've had to adapt the build process. So usually we fit anyone in. I mean, you know, Tony's stuff, AJ's stuff, you know, Leslie's stuff, and, you know, a lot of the biggies that I can't even mention.
Yeah, and doing the redesign stuff, which was very simple, straightforward. Like it was just like literally, here's the customer's existing website, do your magic.
Yeah, and if it gets tough,
a couple of different examples of a layout and right, perfect, away you go, and it was job done.
Yeah, and if we don't get what you're talking about, we just organise a quick call.
Yeah.
So in retrospect, so some of the customers I work with are $30 million to $180 million companies.
Yep.
So the websites have to look kind of like the design. You know what I mean? There's a branding initiative that I spend a lot of time in. So that's where going back to flex and, some of the detailed questions I get to is really kind of where I get excited about Duda. It's because I know it can be done because I've seen Duda sites do a bunch of things. I've seen a lot of what TheCamel has done to other sites. That gets me excited because I've had a marketing company, sold it, had a huge team of 40 people. I don't want to do that again. Right.
No.
So to have a team to do that kind of implementation and they get it
Yeah.
is like, oh my gosh, I don't have to like, you know what I mean? And that's part of the relationship. And that's what I get excited about. So you've brought a very compelling story, and your team has done great work, and your testimonies are, well, they don't get much better than that.
Thank you.
So it's kind of nice to know that there's a property aligned with such a good piece of software, and they've allowed you to do what you're doing, because I don't know how they grow without that.
No. And we love, Duda, that's all we use, right? We often say we bleed orange, right? And, I've seen it. I've seen Duda go from, seriously, it was pretty bloody average, right? But they've just grown and they've grown and they've grown. And as you said, they've got a lot of money now, right? And it's just got there. And it is really an agency and above platform. But you need, that fine tuner, that Carroll Shelby touch to a Mustang, and that's where TheCamel has always positioned itself. We're a solutions partner. We're not an expert. We're a solutions partner. And what I love it is that we can team up with people and build those really special sites you're talking about. And we've built some biggies, And the other thing we've done is we've migrated so many sites from WordPress across to Duda that were really technical sites, Wesley, So,
that's awesome. Really awesome.
Thank you, Alicia. All righty. I think we're done.
Last one.
I want to, one more.
Just, and I'm pretty sure you already answered it, but I just want to verify. All access Camel team can do everything that I need them to do for my clients, while I focus on our partners and our expert stuff. But what if I just have that one wild hair, right, where I want to build this site out for my client? We can still do that on our own, correct?
Of course you can.
Good deal. I thought so. I just wanted to verify.
Yeah, because everything you can do now, AJ, you can still do. But you have the other options, which you've got DIY, DIFM, Site 180, Site 300, custom-built websites. And what that means is, instead of going out to the world and asking for help, you come straight to All Access and ask for help, right? Cuts everything down. And I mean, you'll end up, and the stupid part, what's a lot of the times the people you're asking, then they ask us. So we're cutting out the middleman. Yeah. Which is good. So we're still here for you, AJ.
Awesome.
How'd the baseball go?
Nervous wreck. They have him pitching.
Oh.
He's still trying to recover from his elbow surgery, but he's
no.
looking pretty solid right now.
Oh, did he pitch today?
Yeah, he did, for the first time since his surgery.
How did he go?
Surprisingly well, actually.
Wow.
It looks like he's actually a little stronger than he was.
Wow.
So we're hopeful, but I had to get him to practice 30 minutes early so that he can do his special warm-ups and stuff for his arm and work out the backside of his body like his pitching coach tells him to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he won't get the proper warm-up.
Well, AJ's son was super, super promising baseballer, and he blew his elbow.
Yeah. He rolled a ligament over his elbow, and then whenever he pitched the second time after the ligament rolled, he threw with so much torque that it pulled the growth plate off of his elbow.
Crazy. Now, Wesley, I like baseball.
Yeah, I was a pitcher.
Did you play your elbow?
No, my shoulder.
Oh,
Yeah, my
I-
shoulder is junk.
oh man, I'll tell you, the old shoulder. I broke my shoulder in November.
Oh man, yeah, it's not a fun.
Oh,
It's the one thing. It's like, life does kind of suck without your shoulder.
oh, it's horrible. I could not believe how much you do with your shoulder. It's
And the
crazy.
pinky toe.
Ah,
the
it's
pinky toe.
crazy.
You bust that thing, you'll know.
Oh, forget about it.
Stupid
All
fat
right.
person.
I think we're done. I want to thank everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today. And hopefully all going well. Leslie, I love you. And hopefully we'll all see you in All Access soon. Any other questions? As I said, messenger, email, carrier pigeon, sign language, Morse code, doesn't matter. We'll get to you. Have a great day.